Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Flashback review, and I hope everybody's having a safe and happy Halloween this far. I'm going to be talking about a movie that actually didn't wasn't in theaters, but was made for TV. But it had such a strong cult following that it's been recently been talked to now more than ever. This film at the time was almost considered a lost film. This movie have somewhat disappeared during the 90s and throughout the 2000s until DVD came along, made the film affordable. One of the major problems with this movie in terms of marketing, it was made for TV, and not too many made for TV movies was released on video. One of the main reasons was video was very expensive back in the days. A video cassette actually can go for 70 to 100 and plus dollars and up. And so for people who wanted to watch a movie back then, they went to the video store and rented for a day or two. This is what created the rent a movie boom back in the days, especially in Brooklyn, where you had a whole bunch of video stores catering to the movie industry. And Dark Knight of Scarecrow was not amongst that because it was a made-for-TV movie. But I will tell you this: this is one of the few made-for-TV movies that could have easily passed itself over as a theatrical release if it was actually produced for the movie theaters, because it's one of those rare TV movies that wasn't sanitized. Dark Knight of Scarecrow is a very, how can I say, a very good film. I saw it when I was young. I loved this film. Was trying desperately hard to find this film because when I saw it, another channel, because originally it was CBS, but another channel actually changed the title. It is called Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, but they actually took out the Dark Knight of Scarecrow and just called it the Scarecrow. And for a while, when I was looking for it under that title, I couldn't find it. Finally, I found the film. I watched it again, and man, this memories of childhood memories came back. This film is a psychological horror, but make no mistake about it, a it is graphic. The death scenes are not pretty, and for a made-for-TV movie, that says a lot. Keep in mind, made-for-TV movies wasn't restricted as much as it was now. In the 80s, they were still going over the kinks of the FCC, and the Dark Knight Scarecrow pretty much was able to find that right balance to bring a story that was both terrifying and even graphic, just enough to not raise eyebrows towards the Census Bureau, but enough to say, "Oh my God, I can't believe that happened." Also has a very unique story because the story deals with revenge and injustice in many ways. Because you have a character who goes by the name of Bubba Ritter. He is mentally challenged, but he befriends a young girl, Marilee Williams. That's the girl's name. And let's just say some of the townspeople are a little bit upset by how close these two are, because he is a young man, she is a young girl, and they don't see this as wise to have them two together. But nevertheless, they become friends, and everything's fine until a near tragic accident happened where the girl snuck into into someone's backyard, where she was nearly killed by the dog. Bubba came and saved the girl, saved her life. But because the lynch mob didn't get wind of that, only heard part of the story, not full of the story, they went and hunt him down. The mother tried to protect him, tried to hide him in the Scarecrow, but that didn't end up working. The hounds actually picked up a scent, and instead of calling the police, they decided to take it in their own hand and shoot him down, just basically shooting him with rounds of bullets, killing him to protect themselves for what they have done. They covered up the situation and make it look like Bubba was going after them. So the self-defense play came along, and that actually got them off. The character's oldest is one of the ringleaders, and needless to say, from the very start, you're not liking this character. You're not liking any of these characters throughout this movie, and needless to say, you really don't have much sympathy for this film. And the first thing you're asking yourself is, how can you have sympathy for characters you don't like, in versus the actual real threat, this actual real spirit, this angry, vengeful spirit who is looking to hunt them down and kill them one by one. Well, that's where the uniqueness of this film is. You really wasn't supposed to root for these characters, with the exception of the mother and the little girl, who is in denial at first. You think she's in denial that she doesn't, because they didn't tell her what happened to Bubba, but she knows, because to her she still sees him, she still plays with him, but the mother of Bubba, who is still grieving herself, just doesn't know how to handle it. This is where things start to really get interesting. It's these characters, the people who commit this crime, started to see a scarecrow working in their property and in their farming area. Anywhere you see these scarecrows, you know that something's going about to happen, and that's where the film really starts to take off and start to get interesting. And every time the scarecrow comes near them, that's when you know they're about to get it. They're about to they're about to get axed, and when they got axed, it's not pretty. The movie is very clever in doing one thing. You don't see the scarecrow's face throughout this film. You see it from a view camera. If picture yourself playing a video game and you're moving with the game, and the only thing you got to go on is these huge, very huge footsteps. These steps, when you hear it, it gives you shivers. That's how deep these footsteps are. You know he's walking, he's creeping, he's sneaking up on someone, and that's how you see this mysterious person who is has one objective in mind, and that is to take these people out. Needless to say, again, this is the film that got you built up on not liking these characters, and it really solidifies from the main character, Otis. Otis is a creep from the beginning to end of this movie. He is a creep, he is a sociopath, and he himself is a murderous prick who does stuff that if you had problems rooting for these guys, you really gonna have problems based on this one character alone. This one character alone, you just couldn't wait to get his comeuppance. And how he get it, well, I'll let the movie tell you how that happened, because this is something I don't want to give too much away. I will say this: when you see this film, and keep in mind, this is a made-for-TV movie, you're going to say, this film doesn't feel like a made-for-TV movie. Keep in mind, I didn't even know this was a made-for-TV movie until I actually looked this film up. Spill.com a few years ago had mentioned the name, and when I mentioned the name, I said, is that the movie I've been looking for all these years? And I finally found it, I watched it, and I don't regret it. It still has that staying power that I watched years ago. Dark Knight of Scarecrow is a wonderfully done film because of the strong effort they put on the story. You really are in suspense when you're watching this film. They do a great job building it up, and when the ending finally is told, you are left with a good satisfaction that you have saw a good suspenseful horror film told respectfully, cleverly, and without the usual typical, stereotypical horror trait that you have seen during the later part of the 80s. This film really stood away from that and really have made it their business, not just to scare you, but also tell you a story leading from point A to point B. The director of this film, which is Frank D. Filta, I believe, F-E-L-I-T-T-A, has been credited for this subgenre, because there was a lot of Scarecrow movies that came out after he had made this one, but no one has able to top what he has done. He is still considered to have the best out of them all, and that's saying a lot, considering that this is a genre that really never fully picked up. It's a subgenre because a lot of films have a Scarecrow-related monster in there, but this was the one because this was a different type of ghost story. This is the ghost story where you actually rooted for this restless spirit. You was really rooting for him, not the people who have committed this curse in the first place. The acting was fine, a little clunky in some areas, but it but you gotta understand, TV movies, they have this problem from time to time, but and for the most part, it stayed steady. It stayed telling the story, and that was the important thing. It maintained a story that you really want to watch, and that is the main key here. One of the main problems I have with films like this is that sometimes they don't they may sway away from the story, or they try to do something that actually becomes distracting the story. Stephen King's films are notorious for this, and that's largely because of the CGI that they use for it. It's not scary; it's ridiculous. They didn't use any of that stuff here. And granted, it's 1980s. The CGI wasn't around back then. But the difference is that your story is the strongest point in this film. It needed to be the strongest point in this film, and it was the strongest point in this film. Again, not seeing this this person who's wiping these guys out one by one was also a big key, because you don't see who this person is. You see the Scarecrow, but is it really the Scarecrow? And even the characters are doing a good job of actually keeping the suspense in check. So it's like, okay, it has to be Bubba. It has to be. Who else is it? You know, they went to in the scene. They went to the grave, dug up the grave, realized Bubba's not there, and Bubba was there. Bubba was there, and the guy freaked out because he committed a crime. He wanted to turn himself in. Well, I'm not going to tell you how that ended up, but needless to say, they knew how to keep you building, and they even knew how to keep you guessing. Is it really the spirit that's doing this, or is it someone else within their own party, or someone who's outside of their own party doing this? Is it the mother? Is it the little girl? They do a great job of throwing that in there and keep the story built up. And so when you hear the climactic, I said, "Oh, it really was the way you expected," but still, it's like, you don't know. You just really don't know. That's making a good storyteller right there. It's just, you know, but you don't know, and they keep throwing your stuff as second guessing on what's happening, and that's something that I actually like. That's why you make a good suspense film. Keep them guessing. Let throw a curveball, so that way they don't reveal too much. Reveal something, but don't reveal something. Keep them guessing until that very last minute, and when you do see it, you leave with a smile on your face. This film is 3.5 stars. So again, I think the only thing I had a problem with is pretty much some of the acting did get clunky from time to time, but keep in mind, this is a made-for-TV film. And I'm going to tell you right now, made-for-TV films are, in terms of criticism, critics are more critical, audiences are more critical of made-for-TV movies than they are with theater movies, because TV movies, and to some fault their own, has no window of actually being really creative with their work. FCC is very, very strict on what they can and cannot put in the movies when it comes to direct-to-television set. That's largely because of a movie that actually was the reason why the FCC exists in the first place, and that was Born Innocent. Born Innocent really sparked the FCC's existence, and so seeing this movie do what they did under the gun of what was being formed at that time really is a classic within itself. If I had a list of original made-for-TV movies, this would be amongst the top 3. Not 5, not 10, but 3. That's how good the movie is. I believe someone has it on YouTube. If you guys can check it out on YouTube, you should check it out. You won't regret it. It's definitely one of those good story films, one of those great classic horror films that I always recommend. And this film is definitely amongst those films that I grew up with, scared me, but never left regretting I see. This is one of those movies. So there you guys have it. There's my review of Dark Knight of Scarecrow. Again, I hope everyone's having a safe and happy Halloween. And until November, this is J77 signing off.